Hello, everyone. Beautiful Sunday, overcast here in Vermont. Cool, comfortable. Um, I guess the leaf peepers will be coming pretty soon. Then that'll make the road. I live in a little teeny village in Vermont, and by teeny I mean if there's 100 houses, I'd be shot. Um, and but we are on the. We have a road that goes through the village, and it leads to Okemo Mountain. I live at the base of Mount Escutney, um, but it leads to Okemo Mountain, which is a big ski resort. So we get a little bit of traffic. So when I come out here to the grotto, and this is a grotto chat because I feel like talking. Not very far from the road, so you'll hear road noise and stuff. Sometimes a year you won't hear anything because it's really quiet, but other times of the year you'll hear traffic, and I don't mind it. I sit out here on the porch, and a lot of times I'll look, you know, watch the traffic go by because that's how exciting life can be. Anyway, I thought I'd have a chat and discuss a couple books I've read, and discuss something I hinted at, I think, a video or two ago. And that's a big collection of books where 90% of them have Daryl K. Sweet covers. And we had some people trying to guess what the series would be, but it's a little difficult since he's done so many series covers. So for books I've read, I finished this, The Old Gringo by Carlos Fuentes. The main character, this is a novel, it's fiction, but the main character, one of the main characters, how would you say it? One of the main characters is Ambrose Bierce, the writer who disappeared in Mexico and famous as the author of The Devil's Dictionary. So he's a bit of a wit. He's a main character, and then there's, let's see, Pancho Villa is a big character at the end. And then there's Tomas Arroyo, who's one of Villa's generals, who's the main character. So Ambrose Bierce and Arroyo, two sides of this relationship with Harriet Winslow, an American woman. And it's quite a tragic book. Has some dark stuff in it. Fascinating. Obviously, it's in translation. Fuentes, I think, just died, this year or last year? I won't say it in here because obviously this is an old book, but there's a picture of him. It's a rather short thing. How long is it? 199 pages. So I would rate this very highly. There's some scenes that are definitely not for children, but they're not gratuitous. They matter in the story. So, and this is about the war. Let's see. Yeah, he brings the Mexico of 1914 uncannily to life. I think that's fair to say. So, very, very interesting book. Like I say, a short read, but a really good one. So if anybody's interested, I think this book's probably pretty easy to pick up. It's a pretty famous book. Then the other one I read was this, American Classicist, The Life and Loves of Edith Hamilton. Many of you will know her as the author of Mythology, which is still in print and incredibly popular. And The Roman Way, The Greek Way, let's see, Echoes of Greece. So this is a story of her life and her loves. She was with the same woman, I believe, the last 20 or 30 years of her life, maybe longer. She lived to be a very old woman, in her 90s, and she was from Fort Wayne, Indiana. But a lot of the book takes place in D.C., where she lived. She was a power and a mover in the intellectual series, in the intellectual world of Washington, D.C. and New York City for a long time. Some of it's during the McCarthy era. Fascinating stories. They had a summer home up on near Bar Harbor up in Maine, a place I've spent a good portion of my life, so I'm very familiar with the background there. And, you know, you'll meet a lot of people in this book that you know about from history, and just a really well-researched, gripping life about somebody who maybe we don't think about much anymore, even though our books are still in print, or a lot of them are. But I thought it was really well done. So if you like biographies and biographies of writers, this one I'd recommend pretty highly. So I think, you know, they don't have like a center section of photos, but they do have interspersed on the pages some images. Let's see if I can find something just real quick to give you an idea how it's set up. So there she is. That's the same picture that's on the cover. That's her house in Maine, I believe. Yeah, seawall. All right. Boom. Now to the Daryl K. Sweet covers. And I said I have Wheel of Time up top, so obviously it wasn't the Wheel of Time ones I was talking about. And there are two covers in here I think Mark Simonetti did, so the different version. But for the most part, they're the covers I was talking about. Now, this is a big set of paperbacks I've got. And somebody rightly pointed out in the comments, Mark, you just put up a shelf because you don't have room enough in the grotto for all those books. And the rest of the house is full of books, too, as many of you know. And the commenter is correct. So these may or may not stay. I've started reading the first one. If I don't like it, they'll go into the library book sale, because I've got other things I'm going to put in the library book sale for September. I just grabbed them because the opportunity arose. What if I do like it? I'm going to want to read all of them. But they very well may not stay. And that's fine. But the first one, I think I've only read like page 20 or something. Pretty cool premise, but the jury's out. I have no idea. So I may not keep these. I tried to pile them. There's 3 piles this big. All right? And 3 piles that big on the floor. So I got them some sort of order. I think I'm missing 2 out of the ones I know about. So here, I'm just going to start off because some of you are saying, okay, was my guess good or not? And it's The Magic of Recluse. You see that cover? It's actually a wraparound. That looks like a border sticker. Is it? Yeah, it is a border sticker. Tells you how old this is. It's in good shape, although that's, you know, if it wasn't, I'd still read it. And this is L.E. Modisette Jr., who I've never read. I know he's very famous, but I haven't read him. Do they have a picture of him in here? No, they're not going to. So, let's see. A complex world based on a plausible system of magic, and peopled with engaging and realistic characters. So far, true. Haven't seen any magic yet in the book. So I like fantasy somewhat. And they do tend to be series or big trilogies. You know, we know all that tradition since Tolkien. But this is a big collection of books, and who knows how well these are, you know, throughout the whole series. I mean, I'm reading Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. I think I'm on the 6th novel, and it's starting to go. So who knows if I'll ever finish it. So, and the same would be true with this. If it peters out, I'm not going to continue with it. So anyway, I got the first one, and I've started it. What page am I on? Yeah, 25. I wasn't lying. Okay, and the next one, I'm going to have to keep leaning over because, like I said, there's piles on the floor of these. What is it? The Towers of the Sunset. Yep. You know, you can actually see a little bit of the window on that. Another wraparound coat. Another Borders book. Okay. How am I going to do this? I'll just pile them up over here. That way you got me weaving and bobbing. I'll grab a couple at a time so I don't have to keep doing that. Then there's the Magic Engineer. Sort of cool cover. Yeah, let me put them in some sort of... Then there's the Order War. Just going to read the titles. Not going to get into what they are because I don't know what they are. The Death of Chaos. Fall of Angels. The Chaos Balance. They're all in pretty good shape. Maybe the person didn't read them. I imagine they did. You wouldn't. I mean, it's work to keep collecting these, so I imagine they must have read them. So this one is the White Order. I mean, that could be Randall Thor from the artwork for Wheel of Time. So, I mean, it's pretty recognizable artwork. The Colors of Chaos. I actually like this cover quite a bit. The Magic of Theodore. I'm guessing I'm pronouncing that right. Scion of Theodore. A couple more time here without breaking them. Wellsprings of Chaos. That's got big old blurbs on the back. Order Master. Natural Order Mage. So this is called the Saga of the Recluse, by the way, the series. Yep, still going. It's a very different cover, but I'm pretty sure it's the same artist, isn't it? No, this is Matt Stowicki is the artist on this. It does look different, doesn't it? Doesn't really. Oh yeah, it sort of has a wrap around, but we got a sticker on it. Is this a Borders sticker? I can't tell. So different artists on that one. Theodore's Heirs. And the same artist, so Daryl must have given up doing the art after a while. Heritage of Theodore. So the Mongrel Mage. And who did this? Yeah, this is Mark Simonetti cover. The pile is up to the armrest now. Outcast of Order. So you see how the covers really have changed here. This is Mark Simonetti again. I wonder if that's sort of a wraparound a little bit. Let me grab the last two. This is the Mage Fire War. And then we have Fairhaven Rising. And that cover is also Mark Simonetti. So that's like 20, 21 books. But I'm reading this one. What else am I reading? Oh, I'm reading, I think I got a book on the history of, upstairs. in my room. I've got a book I've been reading on the history of the book in the Renaissance. So I mentioned the other day that I was going to take my son out and we're going to look for cars. He bought a car, his first car ever, a brand new one. I made the joke, it wasn't really a joke, sort of the truth, about how bad my first car was. I think it was a Chevy 72, I might be wrong on the year, Chevy Nova, which now I guess people really like, but mine you could see the road between your feet because it was rusted out. And I got some good comments from folks who had similar experiences in life. But yeah, he starts out with a brand new car, which I'm, proud of him. He saved his money and had a massive down payment, more than I would have ever been able to do. So he's very excited. And he gets to set the radio station to whatever he wants. So, yeah, that was fun. My daughter is with friends. She's 17 years old. She's with friends up in Maine on the beach. I think they're coming back today. And my littlest guy his thing this summer has been, we strung a hammock between a couple maple trees up on the back 40 behind the house. And he hooks the dog up to the tree and with a long leash. And they just hang out all day, swinging back and forth. Every once in a while to mess with him, I remind him that this week he's going back to school. So get that going for him. So yeah, it's been a good time. Been a good summer. A little warmer than I'm used to. Not a big fan of that, but we'll take it. I can feel a little bit of autumn in the air, which is my favorite time of year. Autumn and winter I really enjoy. So yep, the seasons are changing. Hope you're all doing well. And thank you, BookTube.